Representing the 3rd Congressional District, Congresswoman Sheri Biggs, welcome. Always good to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Good to talk to you.
You guys had a bit of drama, I guess you could say, yesterday as House leadership canceled votes for the rest of the week. This all came about when Florida Representative Anna Paulina Luna was pushing for a vote on a resolution that will allow members who've had a baby or maybe their spouses have had a child to have another member vote for them. It's called proxy voting. Speaker Johnson believes it's unconstitutional, decided to pull all votes until next week. Now, the significance of this is that you are very close to voting on two key pieces of legislation: the No Rogue Rulings Act, which will be the first step in preventing activist judges from putting up roadblocks to delay Trump administration actions, and the other is the Safeguard American Voters Eligibility Act, known as SAVE, which will require proof of citizenship in order to register to vote. Now, let's start with the idea of proxy voting. How do you feel about this? Should a member who's had a new addition to his or her family be allowed to ask another member to vote for them?
Well, there are a lot of different angles you can look at this. I believe it's a sacrifice to be here, but it's also a privilege to be sitting in the seat. And each day, we just have to decide and we have to represent our districts. And I feel like maybe, I don't know, I can't speak for the members that that voted with the Democrats on that area, but for me, I feel like I'm here to work, and I knew what I was signing up for, and I'm going to give it everything I have. And I think being in person and representing my district, I believe that's what I'm here for. So it was unfortunate because we had a lot of work to do this week.
Yeah. Yeah, and these are two key pieces of legislation. All right, let's talk about the Rogue Rulings Act. It's very important. We have to rein these judges in. Do you believe once you get a chance to vote, and as I understand it, maybe next Monday, that this bill will pass?
I think so. We don't have an actual date when we will be voting on it, but we just have to make sure that these judges aren't blocking um, our president and what we're trying to get accomplished. That most of these are left leaning judges, and they're just trying to stall President Trump's efforts. And all President Trump is doing is trying to fulfill the American people's mandate. It's ridiculous. It really is. And what the House Republicans want to do is to restore balance to our judicial system. It's common sense, and it's what needs to happen. And you have to look at the Constitution, and I think everything goes back to that and the way that we're handling our business.
Yeah. It is just crazy that a district judge in California can literally stop something nationwide. And I hope you guys are able to pass this and move forward and send a message to these federal judges. All right, the SAVE Act, Safeguard American Voter Eligibility. Nothing's more important than to protect the integrity of our elections. What can you tell us about this bill?
Well, I mean, it just ensures that American citizens are voting in American elections. And this is something that I have co sponsored, and I strongly believe in this. I mean, it's simple. We shouldn't have illegals voting in our elections. We've got to safeguard them, and we've got to make sure that we have election integrity.
Yeah. With me today, Congresswoman Sheri Biggs from South Carolina's 3rd Congressional District. Yeah, you mentioned, you said common sense a minute ago on the No Rogue Rulings Act. Both of these are just common sense pieces of legislation, aren't they?
They they are. I mean, when you talk about voting, um, it's just going to require in-person proof of citizenship, and for registered voters, and it's simple. It's not a complicated issue.
Yeah. I mean, you would think that it shouldn't take an act of Congress to make this happen, but I guess this is where we are today. All right, let's talk about another topic here, completely different from those. Males competing in female sports. President Trump's executive order was very clear, and I believe you were at the White House when he signed it. Yet we still have these liberal universities defying President Trump's executive order. The latest, Ithaca College in New York, this past weekend, allowed a male to compete on their rowing team. Now, the school later claimed that it was a misunderstanding, that the coaches didn't think that it was an official event, which kind of tells me that they're still allowing men on the teams, but maybe hiding them from NCAA sanctioned events. Do you think Congress is going to need to try to intervene here as well and just make it clear that no men are allowed to be on women's teams, period?
I think so. I mean, we're going to have to enforce that, and it's already been made clear what the president's expectations are, and and I think it's ridiculous. The men that I'm around, I'm just thinking about my son Austin. Even the men that work in my office, they would never want to compete against a female. I mean,
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
yeah,
We're biologically different. They need to compete against men. Need to compete against men in their own sports, and women against women. It's not even fair, and it's not safe. I mean, we've talked about women that are injured. There was a young girl the day that President Trump signed this piece of legislation, and she had a traumatic brain injury. It's just not fair, and it's cowardly of these men to want to compete against women.
yeah. Well, I think in most cases, they haven't been able to compete competitively in men's sports, so they decide to move over to women's sports. But and these colleges that just allow this to happen. I mean, I hope that someone is looking at Ithaca College and any federal funds that they may be receiving, that those are canceled right away.
I can tell you that's exactly what's going to happen. So they can keep stalling and not pay attention to President Trump, and I think they're going to get hit where it hurts for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Representative Sheri Biggs, it's always a pleasure. I appreciate your time and thanks for what you do for South Carolina.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Hey, take a minute, like and comment on today's Just the Truth. If you have a suggestion for a future edition, I'd love to hear it. If you disagree with me, I'd love to hear that as well. You can email me, joe@joeyhudson.com, and be sure and hit that subscribe button right now before you forget. Hit subscribe and join our community here on YouTube.